foul trouble, but I feel like he's been a little bit timid when he's gotten in there.
Harden is trusting him more and more on that pick and roll to throw him a pass. Before it was just pick and roll, get out of the way. Now he's okay with like just throwing it ahead to him and B-ball Paul going and getting the ball. So he's active. He's active when he's out there. I don't mind when he's out there at all.
Think of what we talked about B-ball Paul last year at this time, and think about him now. That's it. That's a mark. That's a big check mark in Doc Rivers' column.
Yeah. I mean, it's something I complained about a lot was their failure to develop younger guys, and I would point it at B-ball Paul. And we kind of clamored for him last postseason of where is he, why isn't he playing more? And they brought him along slowly, but he's become a really good rotational piece where I don't think in the offseason they're going to be going again and getting a Montrezl Harrell, a Dwayne Dedmon, a veteran on a minimum to bring in here because they have faith that B-ball Paul can be a serviceable backup.
I was impressed, and he's one of the stories that's really impressed me. And I'm really rooting for B-ball Paul to be a bigger piece moving forward.
He can be that active 15 to 18 minute a night guy who probably most nights isn't going to hurt you out there simply because of his effort. And once he gets slotted into that role, once he realizes what he can do in that 15 to 18 minutes, I do too, John. I think he's going to be a really nice addition to this team.
Hey, we're heading into the final stretch of the morning, presented by Stretch Zone. If you want to relieve sore muscles, increase your flexibility and range of motion, book a free 30-minute stretch session today at stretchzone.com. Do it, and you can be all ready to go. So overall, Phillies with a day off today and a day off on Thursday. So this will be one of the easiest weeks. In fact, I think it's the easiest week. They have one more like this the entire rest of the season. So players got to really be looking forward to this because it's been a grind to begin this year. But if I said to you, biggest positive, biggest negative so far, and you had to point to a individual or an individual's performance, biggest positive, biggest negative.
I think it goes to the same person if you're looking at it in the Sixers' eyes.
No. I'm talking about the Phillies. For the Phillies.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's all right.
I'm looking.
We've been all Phillies up.
Biggest positive, biggest negative for the Phillies. Biggest positive is probably that Bryce Harper came back so soon.
I go Brandon Marsh just because of it.
He's down to like 268
No,
now.
I got you, though,
Yeah.
as far as I still believe if Brandon Marsh is a 270 type hitter, which I think he's going to end up, averaging out to be, and plays good defense, that the kids, Pat, biggest positive.
Bob kind of stole mine.
Okay, so you're the same way.
I think Bryce Harper coming back as quickly as he did is by far the biggest positive because we've already seen the impact that it has in the lineup. Biggest negative, it's not even close. Starting rotation. And
What's going on?
Like the back end, you figure, okay, Bailey Falter struggling. It's going to happen, whatever. Taijuan Walker struggling every once in a while. Okay, and he had a really good start yesterday. But to have your frontline guys struggle the way they have, I don't think many people saw that coming.
No.
And it's still early. They could still turn it around, and they're getting Ranger Suarez back. But
when are they getting Ranger back?
I believe this week.
I mean, is he because that's something I sort of am.
Yeah, I think he's getting activated this week.
That's one of those ones where I'm like, come on, Ranger, we need you back.
Yeah, they do. They desperately need him back. And you wonder, is he going to face a little bit of an uphill climb because he missed the majority of spring training and didn't get too much run in the minor leagues to get back to maybe full swing? I wouldn't be surprised if he struggled right out the gate.
Yeah, they have an opening for a starter a week from tomorrow when they're in San Francisco. That maybe they slide him right in there.
Rockies-Giants road trip coming up after 2 with the Blue Jays. So you get a little Blue Jays action. Are you liking the balanced schedule?
I do, yeah. I like the fact that, you go from the Red Sox to the Blue Jays this early.
I think that one of the things it can do is potentially grow the sport more. Because like every year, you're going to see all the biggest stars play your team.
Yeah, I think that's a great part of it. I love the fact that you're guaranteed to see an Ohtani and a Trout and just other guys throughout the league that you know nothing about. Like the World Baseball Classic I'm watching, and you're familiarizing yourself with guys that I said before, like, oh, I haven't seen this White Sox player or this Guardians player or whatever in a long, long time. That's what I do. I love the scheduling. As long as everybody has it, I'm fine with it.
I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would.
Are you?
Yeah, I wasn't into the because I think it then to me it's so balanced. It's not. I like the NFL's balance. I like the way it was where you play just a quarter of your schedule is played against the other conference. So that way the conference championship is really earned by being the best team in your conference. You maybe just didn't beat up on the A's and the Royals and everything like that. Everybody playing the same balanced schedule to me is a little bland, but I do enjoy the different storylines. Like there were players on the Red Sox that I don't know much about. Some of the younger guys they've got in there.
Yeah.
And you're hearing different stories, you're learning different things, so maybe that grows the sport a bit.
Totally enjoy it. Yeah, totally enjoy it.
My only negative is it seems like the Phillies continue to play teams' best pitchers.
My gosh,
the Blue Jays, they got to go up against Alek Manoah, who's not having a good season so far. But
is he from Manoah?
No, he's not. No, he's from West Virginia.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick a bunch of years ago and had a hell of a year last year. But I think he's struggling with the pitch clock a little bit, but he's their best pitcher. And then Gautzman the next day. And
the gas man.
Yeah.
On an afternoon game, by the way, for that one. So get on in and check that one out. I have a bunch of questions for you on the Sixers. I'll explain, and you can play along in your car. Michael Spinks is also stopping by in studio. John Kincade Show.
.com/RG.
Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on a Monday morning. Get your glow on at Whole Foods Market. All beauty, bath, aromatherapy, and personal care items are 33% off with Prime through May the 16th. While supplies last, shop in-store or online, and terms do apply. One of my favorites, Pat. It is on my playlist that pops up quite often. A Romantics fan, Pat, or not?
No.
Do you know the song?
Yeah.
But not one of your
Not
one of your
rotation,
favorites.
but that's okay.
Yeah, it is
Like what you
okay.
like.
It's all right. Like what you like.
Unless it's,
Unless it's
never mind.
Yeah, there you go. I got somebody on the hot seat though to start the day today.
Yesterday's game has everyone talking, but one person is on the hot seat. Let's find out who.
I think it's going to surprise you who I think's on the hot seat. After all we've discussed this morning, his name has rarely come up. But I think now you've got a best of 3, and you're trying to get your way out of a second-round series for the first time in the 23 years you want to be able to do it. I believe Doc Rivers is sitting clearly on the hot seat. Because if it's one thing I know about Philadelphia, no matter what happens, if they lose this series, Doc Rivers is somehow going to take the blame. And I personally believe that 4 games into this series, Doc Rivers hasn't done anything where I'm pointing the finger at Doc Rivers. But I know that this city loves to blame coaches. They don't want to blame Jalen Hurts for fumbling in the Super Bowl and they lose by 3 and he gives up 7 points in a giveaway. They want to blame Jonathan Gannon. Doc Rivers better be watching and better be ready for it. And Doc knows. He knows it's the nature of the business. I think Doc Rivers has coached a really, really nice playoffs 8 games in. Maybe one clunker in the mix. But he's going to be on that hot seat. And if Doc needs it, he can have H&H Heating and Air Conditioning come on over and give him that AC tune-up. Go to DelcoHVAC.com. DelcoHVAC.com. They'll take great care of you if you need an estimate on a new HVAC system or emergency service because you don't want your house hot this summer. I know it, Bob, because 8 games in, do you have any issue with, is Doc Rivers on your, if you were to say 3 or 4 things that you would complain about with the Sixers in the postseason, Doc Rivers doesn't make my list.
Probably not top 3 or 4. The matchup thing gets I went off half kiddingly, but the George Niang thing,
Right.
I just don't think there's a spot for him in this series. I thought he was used way too much yesterday.
And he won that game, so it's hard to say, okay, he got away. He may have gotten away with that one.
Yeah, no, there hasn't. Yesterday's space, and a lot of times it's not, Doc. You can see him saying, guys, move, let's go. And the Sixers shrink the court and don't move. So it's hard to blame the coach on that. But no, he's done some very good things, as we've talked about throughout the playoffs, yeah.
I think he's had, arguably, it's been his best postseason here. As far as coaching,
yeah,
because nobody's throwing rocks at Doc Rivers right now. And honestly, if you are, I think you're just using a tired narrative that you had from the past. Because if you're blaming Doc Rivers for anything that's going on in this series, man, I think you're stretching a little bit.
Yeah, every game, every series, whatever, you're gonna have complaints about something.
Right.
But I think you're right. He's not high on the list on this one.
I've got out questions for you.
I'm out.
Has Doc been out coached in the series? I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so either.
Pat?
No, I don't think so.
Have the Sixers been out hustled in the series?
Yeah,
I believe so.
At times, yes. At times.
Absolutely, especially in Game 3.
Have the Sixers been outplayed in the series?
In
the series as a whole, 4 games, have they been outplayed?
I'm going to give the asinine answer. I'll say it's even.
So you really do? You think?
I'll say yes.
I think they've been outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, so the Celtics wins are more lopsided than the Sixers wins, so I think they've been outplayed.
Good way of looking at it.
Is there do you have, so we just went on the out questions, the outplayed, out hustled. That's, and we don't think that the team was out coached.
No, I don't think so. I thought that Mazzullo, he's into not calling
bothers me, by the
timeouts.
way.
Does he? What, the looks of him?
I don't know. I think he has a smirk when he's. A lot of coaches don't like the in-game interview.
I could see why.
I think Doc handles the in-game interview much, much better and much more respectfully than.
I think Doc's just a good interviever. I think he's very comfortable.
Like savvy, right?
Yeah, like every time we've had him on, he's been great.
He's been great.
I agree with you. Every time he does he's very honest and seems kind of.
I think he's almost too honest.
But I agree with Bob. I think most coaches would prefer not to do it.
Oh yeah, but there's
because a lot of the questions I feel like are, common sense can probably answer it for you.
How do you feel?
Yeah, exactly.
Questions that get to you a little bit.
What did you like that your team did? Well, I like the fact they scored points.
Well, I mean, like they used to have fun with Sager and Pops back in the day, and Craig Sager and Pops, and Sager would be like,
great.
And Sager would be like, that was a stupid question. Who wrote that for you? And sometimes the thing is knowing Craig very well over the years, he said sometimes it was real, even though it came off as playful.
Yeah.
He was really annoyed.
Oh, Popovich has that in him. I've seen it up close and personal. I get nothing out of it. I don't see the need for it. Halftime running off the field or whatever, the court, okay, because you have what's going to be your second half adjustments, okay. But seriously, do you think a coach's mind in a timeout is totally into answering questions from a reporter? Like, I don't like it. I don't feel the need for it. That's something I could do without.
Yeah, I guess Mazzulla, just something about him. Just something. This is he's becoming a hate the face to me.
Well, I think part of that is he's coach.
Boston's coach.
There isn't one person on that team that isn't a hate the face for me. Marcus Smart, a stupid green hair. Al Horford looking like a turtle.
Well, Al Horford does look like a turtle.
Malcolm Brogdon looking all uppity.
Yeah, a little bit, eh?
He looks like, to me, if you've ever seen the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, he looks like Pete.
He does.
It dawned on me game one, and I can't unsee it now. Jason Tatum with a stupid mask. Jaylen Brown with a stupid mask. Jason Tatum with his perfectly, his hairline and everything lined up perfectly. It's gotten to the point where I'm hating these guys for the dumbest reasons.
We hate them because they're the Celtics, and that is the truth.
That's what it boils down to. They're wearing green.
They're wearing green.
I don't like them.
I didn't
good, Pat.
I didn't hate what's his name, the old coach.
Emmy?
The
Stevens,
from
Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevens. I didn't hate Brad Stevens. I liked him in college. Thought he was really, really good in college.
I guess, I didn't really hate him.
I just don't like Boston. I just don't like Boston Celtics people.
How did you like the Horford Jimmy yesterday?
Can't stand him.
That was pretty out. That wasn't like him, I should say.
What annoys me is this, and I told Jamie on Saturday, I cannot wait till he retires because he has been the bane of this franchise's existence, it seems like, for the past 7-8 years. But what annoyed me was it came at such a timely fashion. And that's him this entire series. Whenever the Boston Celtics need a big bucket, Al Horford's the one to hit it. And he ends up smashing that down to take the lead, erasing a 16-point deficit. And I was like, of course.
Of course it was Al Horford.
And when he had the wide open three and he took it, I thought, oh, yeah, of course he's wide open. And luckily he missed it.
I'm sorry, John. That's another concern is how open the Celtics are getting on threes. I don't know if it was tired legs late by the Sixers because you did have a lot of guys play a lot of minutes. Or what it was. But did you notice that as the game went on, the threes got more wide open? That concerned me a little bit.
A gentleman asked for a little explanation. He says, John, you rarely ever go off on someone like Horford's bothering you. He goes, can you give one little bit of insight on why? And I would say this. Is Al back in the day, his entourage of family and people, and being a sports talk radio host in his town where he played his career, his family would reach out to you.
Oh, Anna.
And would complain. Anna was just like twice. I mean, it's the uncles, it's the everybody in his entourage. He had an entourage of family members, and they all seem like good people, but they would literally want to discourse with you about something you said about Al. And it drove me crazy. I never dealt with that in my entire career from any other athlete. Any other athlete ever did I hear from family, like multiple family members. I've heard from single family members, but not multiple family members. You were saying this, by the way. You said this. Why'd you say that? What do you got against Al? It's like, dudes, just stop. Just stop. And Anna is a whole nother issue, Pat.
I'd like her to be my issue. If I'm being,
I hear what you're
honest
saying
with you,
there.
I find her a little bit attractive, gentlemen. I do.
All right.
Well, that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
would tell you that Anna would be working a Sephora counter if it wasn't for her brother.
There's a lot. I mean,
that is what I'm
there's
telling
a lot
you.
of talent in the Sephora.
There is. You go into a Sephora, they're lovely ladies.
Yeah.
That's what she'd be doing.
Sometimes I travel in there.
She's famous because of her brother.
Can you help
Not
me find
because
a
of
nice
her.
face mask?
Is that what you do?
Every
You do
once
the
in a while.
charcoal one?
Yeah, you know it.
That's really, really good. We have Bobby Russo with us, the president of Golden Gloves Boxing in the house.
Proud to be here.
And who'd you bring with you? Is that Michael Spinks? I feel like I'm in a time machine. Michael, welcome to the John Kincade Show.
All right, thank you.
I'm a little nervous because my last name's Cooney. So I have the feeling that Michael might want to lean over and throw a right a little bit here. No relation, but it's not Jerry, so don't worry. We're
That
good
is
to go.
Awesome. Hey, Bobby, the Golden Gloves Boxing Championships are here in
They
Delco.
are.
I'm a
They are.
Delco guy. Now, I don't put on the gloves because a guy like Michael still looks like he could just like put me into the middle of
He
next
can
week
still go.
if he wanted to. But you brought the Golden Gloves is coming to Delco this week,
Yes, sir.
which is fantastic.
It
Tell
is.
us a little bit more about it.
Well, for one thing, it's the 100th year anniversary of the Golden Gloves. And, you know, Golden Gloves is the launch pad of all these great icons. Everybody, Sugar Ray Leonard, all these guys, Michael Spinks, Mike Tyson, you name it, Joe Louis, all of them, Floyd Mayweather. And but, you know, more than anything, the Golden Gloves in amateur boxing is a great youth program that saves a lot of kids' lives and changes their direction. So that's really what it is. And we got some, you know, it's a nonprofit. It's all volunteers, no money in it. That makes it as clean, you know. It's a clean sport. And thanks to our sponsors that we have that help us out so much, which is the Sprinkler Fitters 669 and a couple of other that I have here.
It's all right. We always read off of notes, so if you got them, so you could do that.
Yep. And let's see here. The United Association of Plumbers, Pipe Fitters, Welders, Service Techs, and the Sprinkler Fitters Local Union 692 of Philadelphia, and the Sprinkler Fitters 692. These guys, if we don't have these type sponsors, and they love our demographics because they want the apprentices, you know, the apprentice program. So we also are offering a career for these kids that don't necessarily go to college.
You guys are going to be at Harris Casino in Chester the entire week.
We are.
So it starts today.
It does. You know, it's quite a task for these guys. They're fighting 5-6 times for the week. You know, every day they're boxing.
That's relentless.
Yeah, it is.
People don't know how tiring. I did some boxing when I was a kid. How tiring 3 minutes can be when you're in a ring. You know, if you're not ready for it, it's tough. And these guys are going 5 times a week.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, Bobby, you brought extra gloves. Pat, what do you think? We have Michael Spinks and Bob Cooney during the next commercial break.
no, I'm good.
Go 3 minutes.
I've wanted to see
I
Bob get
retired.
punched for years.
I'm like Michael. I retired.
Michael, when you see these, you see the talent coming up. It's got to be inspiring because so many of us, like in Bob and our generation, our dads were in front of the TV for boxing and drew us to it too. And it's huge here in Philadelphia. Which it's great to be able to see it and to see the young kids coming up.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Golden Gloves do a lot for you, Michael?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a 2-time national champ, right?
Yep.
2 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold medalist.
And the idea of boxing every day for a week just seems relentless.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they box at 3 rounds, but, you know,
Still.
nonetheless,
Yeah.
it's a lot because you're up against the best in the country.
Right.
We have, you know, there's about 350 fighters here this week, and that represents the whole country, every state.
But you have time to a normal fight, like in Michael's prime, he had maybe 4 months, 5 months to prepare for a fight.
Yeah, right.
And prepare for an opponent and study that opponent and understand what they're about. How do these guys do that if you're talking about a national organization, you don't have time to scout your opponent the same way you would for a normal fight.
Nowadays, everybody's got this video on everybody. So these guys at this level, you look on your phone, you'll find them. So you can see their style and stuff. Back in the old days, you couldn't do that, because they didn't have any real history, that you could have on tape. Because Michael Spinks has, a huge library of his fights.
Yeah.
I've watched them all.
Yeah.
You talk about the old days. How great was boxing when we were young? Coming up with it, with Michael, with everybody from the heavyweights, not just the heavyweights, but on down. It was such the heyday of boxing, 70s, 80s, all of that. Is it coming back up? I mean, with this Golden Gloves and everything, are the youth getting more into it again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Portland, Maine, and I actually have 4 fighters of my own in. And in New England's a hotbed of boxing. The shows every place. But, it's just not the same. Back in the day when Michael, the 76 team, the greatest Olympic team ever, you watch these guys on the Olympics, on Wide World of Sports, and then you watch their pro career on regular TV in the afternoon, not at 1 o'clock in the morning, these pay-per-view things that are on now. So, but the MMA went on TV when we went off, and they kind of took a generation of our fans. But boxing will never go away, and it's hot in certain areas, And, these pay-per-view fights, they're killing it. I mean, these guys are making $50 million. So they're making a lot of money for sure.
Tickets are on sale at pagoldengloves.com. It's as low as $24.99. Now, this is also an Olympic qualifying event.
It is.
So this is a chance for guys to make a real statement.
Right, to follow in the footsteps of guys like Mike Spinks here. He's Mike Spinks. His career was phenomenal. I mean, the light heavyweight champ, undisputed, then won the heavyweight championship. He and his brother winning a heavyweight championship. This is historic stuff. It's record-breaking stuff. He's awesome. Great guy, too.
And now there are 3 rings. So I don't understand is that they're not fights going on at the same time.
They are.
There
3.
are?
Yeah, 3 at a time because there's so many. We got to pare it down. So there'll be, you ought to see the weigh-in this morning. There was, 300 people at the weigh-in, So we do 3 rounds. I think I didn't see I think there's 20-something belts in each ring tonight. And then I think we're going up to like 30 belts tomorrow and Wednesday. And then it pairs down. We go to 2 rings on Friday and then 1 ring on Saturday.
So get on out. It'll be at Harrah's Casino in Chester this entire week, May 8th through the 13th. Get on out and enjoy it. It's the Golden Gloves, National Golden Gloves of America, right in Delco, which I like even better, coming to my county. Thanks so much for joining us, Bobby. And Michael, we appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Glad to have you today. Look forward to it. And get on down there and go see some great boxing coming up this week. So Bob, are this... Let me ask you this one question here, too, is how far along in the season do we have to be to say that we're officially concerned about the Phillies starting pitching?
I like
Pat,
the time.
I don't want to be negative.
No. I like the time frame that you kind of put on it from the beginning of the season. Yeah, I'm fine with that. 50 games in, however you want to go about it. Yeah, I'm all right with that. And that's with everything. It's not just the pitching staff. With the whole team, I'm all right going till then and saying, okay, here's what needs to happen. I'm glad Rob Thompson did something different with the lineup yesterday, whether it's out of necessity that you had Kyle Schwarber going 1 for 25 or whatever it was. I just think that is your better lineup. Get those speedy guys at the beginning of the lineup. Get your bigger hitters back a little bit. I think this is the way they should stay for the rest of the season.
Well, that might be bold. I mean,
Yeah,
Pat, where are you
for a
at?
while.
No, I like, and I had never considered it before, John, until I met you. But I think the Memorial Day stamp is an accurate one. I have not looked at the standings. I know the Phillies aren't in first place, but other than that, I don't start to worry until probably June.
Yes,
2 months in, you kind of have a barometer of okay, who's getting on the right track and who is just in the mud and they can't kind of crawl out of. Last year, it was Nick Castellanos. You started to worry about it around June. Kyle Schwarber, though, to the other point, was the same way, and then June he heated up. So I'd like to think that these guys will revert back to their baseball cards but it does concern me that they pitched so far into the season last year, something that none of them have ever done.
I
And
wonder
how much of that's affecting them this year.
Do you think Wheeler is there any chance you believe right now Wheeler's injured?
I don't think he's injured. I just worry about what happened last year with the shutting him down with arm fatigue, so he was ready for the postseason. He pitches in the postseason. He pitched okay, and that was in November, and then he has to have a quick turnaround and get ready in March, which is something he wasn't used to. I don't know what his deal is.
When he's good, he's really good, though.
Yeah, he is.
He threw a 6-inning or 7-inning, whatever it was. He had a couple of back-to-back outings that were good. I think he's more towards getting back to normal, which Wheeler normal is really good. I think he's more back towards there than he is the question mark that he posted in a couple of outings this year.
Now, as we get to back to a little bit of the Sixers here as we close out the show, Ryan Field says, no surprise Doc is having his best postseason when he's coached against 2 interim coaches. He's not coaching against an interim coach in Boston. He's not interim.
Yeah, first-year coach.
He's a first-year coach, but he's not an interim coach.
He was thrown into the fire because of the end of the situation.
Yes.
But he, at this point, he's not interim anymore.
The guy's not interim.
It's like calling Rob Thompson last year during the World Series run an interim manager. Like, technically, maybe, but we all know, like, he's going to be back next year.
Yeah, it is a wonder that there is. I do not have any. If you had told me that 8 games in, we wouldn't have had one day where the fans are coming in here with pitchforks for Doc Rivers, I'm floored.
Yeah,
because that's very different than this town.
Well, it's very different from this town and then also from Doc Rivers' resume in the playoffs.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, that's fair.
You combine both, and I think that probably would have been a minus 1,000 on the sports books. So, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I agree with you on that.
I really do believe the one thing that overwhelmingly I woke up with today was I believe there's going to be a Game 7.
Yeah, and you're pretty confident in that. That's good.
And I have a feeling that...
And bad.
And I have a feeling that both 5 and 6 may not be great games.
See, I'm confident there'll be a Game 6.
That's pretty good, Pat. You're confident of that?
I'm overly confident there's going to be a Game 5.
Hey, Aaron in Philadelphia. Hey, Aaron, how are you, brother?
What's up, man?
Great to have you on the show. What's going on?
Chilling. Just, about to go collect my money from the casino.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, man. I should have bet more.
So what are you thinking for the rest of the series?
I'm thinking Sixers got the next 2 games.
Wow,
Sixers
I love that attitude.
6. All right,
I love
Aaron.
that. Tell us why, though.
I just think Embiid's going to be a different player. Maybe he's going to show up this time.
34 and 13 yesterday. Showed up a little bit.
I don't think he showed up. He looked as scared to me. You ain't see what Horford did to him late in the game?
Yeah, I thought. Did you think this also, Aaron, like I did, that he was that Embiid looked really tired?
Embiid looked tired? Nah, I thought scared, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I didn't think he looked scared earlier when he was cooking.
Yeah, he was cooking everybody early.
Scared of what? The moment, Aaron?
Yes.
All right. Turn down your radio a little bit. Thanks, buddy. I don't.
I think he was tired. I think
he was tired.
I never understood what there is to be scared about on a basketball court.
When he dominated.
I know what I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's all right.
No, I think some guys do want the moment and do want the ball in crunch time, and other guys don't want to be the reason why the team loses. So they look to dish. Look, Ben Simmons is a prime example, and I'm not even trying to take shots, but Ben Simmons was a guy that did not want the ball in a big moment.
Jason Tatum yesterday?
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know. I don't know.
I've seen him take shots in key moments before to win games, so I wouldn't go that far. But maybe yesterday, I don't know. But I don't think Embiid's like that. I just think it was fatigue.
Yeah, I think it was fatigue, and I certainly don't think he's afraid of the moment.
No, we saw.
I don't buy that at all. I think he gets down on himself.
Yeah, I think he questions himself
very easily.
I think self-confidence is big with him, whether he has it or not. But last year, I saw that guy with a torn ligament in his thumb hit a game-winning turnaround shot against the Raptors in the playoffs. Like I don't think the moment gets too big for him.
No,
but yeah. I did find it interesting that and I brought it up earlier. PJ Tucker hits an N1 that would eventually tie the game. His first thought wasn't to celebrate, flex, go to the line. It was make a beeline over to Joel Embiid and remind him who the hell he was.
You are supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
Do you
This
think
is supposed to be you.
you think yesterday's minutes are going to have an effect on tomorrow night?
I've thought it since he's come back. Yeah.
I mean, Tatum younger, Smart, whatever. Brown younger. The guys that put in big minutes for them have younger legs than the Sixers, and you're talking about everybody, all starters besides Tucker, going more than 45 and more minutes. So that's got to be a concern for tomorrow night.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it'll
It's a
be interesting
concern.
what the start is. The start is huge tomorrow.
And we'll get into this more tomorrow, as we preview Game 5, but the idea, too, about do you coach differently on the road? For the start of and do you coach a game differently when you're down 2-1 than when you're even 2-2?
Coaches will say no, I think. Coaches will say, no, you're coaching every game to win. I have to believe that. I have to believe that if I'm standing on a sideline and I see something happen in this chess match of a basketball game in the first 5 minutes that I can change that'll give me an advantage, I don't think game, situation, where we are comes into play at all. I think you just automatically go to winning mode. I have to do whatever to win.
Yeah, let's get into it and let's see where it goes. I wanted to end with this, Pat. If I gave you a bag of M&Ms and there's 100 M&Ms in the bag and 7 of them are deliciousness, M&Ms deliciousness, and 93 of them are going to give you the poops. Can you reach into the bag and pick out one of the good ones? Because that's what we're looking at tonight. Draft lottery matters. There's a chance. There's a chance.
Absolutely. The Rangers a couple years ago went from pick 11.
They were beyond this.
Yeah,
I have
pick
to-
11 to pick 1.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
It's the seven. It's the seven.
NHL draft tonight.
7.
Yeah.
What's it? 7.5% chance.
Yeah.
I forgot the
something like that.
NHL draft was tonight until you just
No,
mentioned it.
7.5% chance.
It's not the draft.
It's the
Draft
lottery.
lottery. I'm sorry, draft lottery. is what I meant.
7.5% chance
Don't know sport.
that you could end up with Connor Bedard tonight. Pat Egan, if you keep your windows open tonight. Now it's going to be rainy. I think there's supposed to be some rain. You'll be able to hear Pat Egan. If the Flyers end up with Connor Bedard,
I'm not paying attention to the draft lottery.
you're not going to.
I'll be napping or something.
When they get seriously.
Yeah, I'll be taking a nap. I'll be watching a show.
See, I will just
Why don't you
out
like
of
sports?
I will just out of
I'm so lotteried
anxiousness.
out.
By the way, I think into anxiousness here, we should say that there should be one. There's supposedly one elite talent and 2 other talents, 2 other legs of the stool that in other years would have been anybody would have taken them number 1 in the draft. So there's you tonight, if you found out you got the 2nd pick or the 3rd pick, that wouldn't be bad either.
No, it wouldn't. It's just there's one crown jewel of this draft, and he plays for the Regina Pats,
Okay.
named Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
He's a generational.
Oh, he is. He's generational.
Game-changing type. Yeah, he's special.
But I'm looking at anything that can make the
Rejuvenate the franchise.
yes. And so even if you got the 2nd or 3rd pick in the draft, you have a chance to rejuvenate it. You have a chance to get better. And one thing I know is John Tortorella is a damn good coach.
Yeah.
And so I feel good. Let's have more in the coffers. And remember, he talked about it late in the year. It's going to be the summer of subtraction.
But you're right. If you get the number 2 pick and get Adam Fantilli, you're good.
I'm not a fan of his.
You're not. You didn't.
What
Not the Fantillis.
What don't you like about him?
No, I'm not on the Fantilli float. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does he go to college?
He goes to a place up in
LaSalle.
northeast.
Pat.
LaSalle. He goes to LaSalle.
He goes
close,
to
same
LaSalle.
colors.
Northeast.
Same colors. Not far off.
See?
Michigan.
It's not bad.
He goes to Michigan.
I
It's
I said that.
People call it the LaSalle of Michigan.
Of the Midwest.
By the way, will Cutter Gauthier be here next year?
No, he's sticking
He's
around.
still
He
gonna
will
play
absolutely
college.
not.
He's sticking around. I mean, he'll be here, I think, in March. I mean, after his college season's done, I think he signs an entry level. But he
So you
won't
think
be
he
here.
might get a cup of coffee?
He won't be here. He'll sign an entry level and be here towards the.
Is that
very
by
end.
design of wanting the clock to start later on him?
Probably that.
That next year's not going to be.
There's no reason to rush him. You're not winning now, so
there
yeah.
you
And
go.
I think cap situation affects it.
They're going to be. I'm telling you, there's
There's reason for hope.
we need some good things to happen, and maybe tonight will be one of them. Can you imagine how this city would explode if Connor Bedard was a Flyer?
I think part of the city would explode.
Yeah, if they get the number 1 pick tonight, I think maybe you'll hear a murmur.
Yeah.
Really? I do not.
I think there will be a big difference between when the Sixers got the number 1 overall pick and got Ben Simmons, and the Sixers got and the Flyers. If the Flyers were to get the number 1 overall pick and get Bedard, I can't talk because I'm so flummoxed by the situation. But there will be excitement for sure. I mean, Twitter will go a buzz, but it won't be to the level of, let's say, the Eagles moving up to 2 to get Wentz, the Sixers trading up to get to number 1 for.
You think there's just been too much toxicity in the pool?
Yeah, I think the
Well, then
Phillies
I
getting
will
Trey
bring.
Turner's
Well, you know
bigger
what?
and
You're all
that.
too negative for me.
That's not no.
And
no,
then
no,
I'm rooting for negative. I'm saying it's not. No, I'm trying to make fun of the.
Hey, now.
No, I'm trying to make fun of the emailer from
you
earlier
stop
today.
that.
Don't be negative.
That would be Cam.
Because if somebody's negative, you got to be
Stop.
negative.
No, stop that, you negative Nelly.
Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join us on our generous partners win donation, and please make a donation today to the American Association for Cancer Research. Do it at 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives. Bob, we're going to have a little bonus coverage.
All right. Are we staying on the air for another half hour?
A little bit. We're going to have a little bonus coverage while Anthony and
you get
Tunis
more
get
of
set
this.
up. Yes, more to come. John Kincade Show
Damn
on
it.
97.5
Gambler.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. 97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway.
That's right. That's what this is. This is your chance to win $1,000 gift card to anywhere you want. We gave away one already. Let's do it again. The keyword this time is